Folks, this one felt good. Blue Jays even the series at 2 games apiece. They get a win. They get a pretty convincing win over the Dodgers in LA, 6-2 the final score. Dodgers do get a run in the bottom of the ninth to make this thing look a little bit better, but it was a huge seventh inning, a 4-run seventh for Toronto that pushed them to a 2-2 series tie. We go to game 5 in LA on Wednesday night. We will talk about that at the end of the show, and we are guaranteed to go back to Toronto. And I feel like that's kind of what everybody wanted from this series, and now we actually get it. Just Baseball Show, Jack McMullen, Peter Apple, thank you for joining us live on YouTube, on X. If you're listening to this wherever you get your podcast, thank you for doing that as well. Who we brought to you by?
BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Remember, folks, download BetMGM, whether that be on iOS or Android, and use promo code JUSTBASEBALL. Why? First bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first wager loses. Just remember, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. And if you bet on the Dodgers tonight, you got a lot of bonus bets in store. Congratulations.
How about it? And I understand if you did lean that way because, Ohtani's on the hill, and Ohtani was on base 9 times in the last 18 innings of baseball, which all happened to be on one day. This felt like a hangover-type game, and whoever let it become a hangover-type game was going to lose.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani did not pitch poorly tonight. He missed with a Vladdy pitch, and you can't miss to Vladdy right now. You can't even make pitches. Like, executing to Vladdy is not advised at this moment. I would say just walk him. That's what I was pounding the pavement for in Game 6 and Game 7 of the ALCS. And now I think moving forward, I'm pitching mighty carefully to Vladdy. But aside from that, Ohtani was good. It did just kind of feel like a hangover game for the Dodgers. And you know what? Credit to the Blue Jays for stepping on the gas, keeping their foot on the gas. Shane Bieber was phenomenal. The Blue Jay bullpen was phenomenal as well. I'll give you the game rundown in a moment, but those were my immediate sweeping takeaways. This had an opportunity to be a sleepwalk for either side. The Dodgers, I wouldn't go as far as to say that they sleptwalked tonight, but they just seemed like they had minimal pep in their step, and the Blue Jays were ready to pounce on that, and they did. Good for them.
It looked to me like the Dodgers sleptwalk, but that also doesn't take anything away from the Blue Jays because at least early it felt like both teams were coming off an 18-inning marathon, but the Blue Jays then jumped on them. And this has been the Blue Jays' ID the entire playoffs, the entire season. They lead Major League Baseball and come from behind wins. We've talked about it the entire playoffs, that this team builds on their momentum, and when they go down, that's when you actually want to back them. And to be perfectly honest with you, when the Dodgers won that marathon, because I wasn't on the show yesterday, when they won that game, I was going to say, all right, Dodgers in 5. Because that was such a debilitating loss.
Yeah.
Not to mention going all the way to 18 innings, not to mention getting second and third in the top of the 18th inning and getting that wretched strikeout to Taylor Heineman to end that inning and then getting walked off by Freddie Freeman. But that was your chance to really take the series lead. Like, that was the opportunity. The Dodgers offense looked dead. They were putting up zeros too.
Yeah. And
you were at the bottom of the Dodgers bullpen. Now, bottom of both bullpens, but that was the game that you could have won. A lot of teams, 99% of teams, you would lay down and you would say, all right, now we're facing Ohtani, and then we have Snell in Game 5. Damn it. But not these Blue Jays. Like, there have been great teams throughout history that if they lost a game like this, they are losing the next one.
Of course.
And this wasn't a close game. Dodgers got a lead, 1-0. Blue Jays immediately got it, then pounced on them. And that is just how the Blue Jays roll, and that's why they are such a tough opponent for the Dodgers, because they will just not die, and it's so much fun to watch them.
I want to expand on that thought in a moment, but before that, I do want to tell you how this game unfolded, because I took care of the little rundown TLDR. So After acrobatics from Kike Hernandez and foul ground opened the game, he opened scoring against Shane Bieber in the bottom of the second with a sacrifice fly. But Vladdy answered a half inning later. Top of the third, after Nathan Lucas singled against Shohei Ohtani, Shohei hung a breaking ball. Vladdy did not miss it. He deposited it into the seats in left center field. That gave Toronto a 2-1 lead on Guerrero's 7th homer of the postseason. Scoring then halted until the top of the 7th inning, and Toronto poured it on. Andres Jimenez played in the first run of the inning on a reach and poke single the other way. It was literally just barrel to ball, see how far it may go if I run into 90 or 95, however hard that came in. Then Ty France hit a little dribbler to the right side of the infield. It was an RBI ground out, only play at first. Paper cuts again for Toronto. Bo Bichette did lace a single to left, but it was a single nonetheless. And Addison Barger bounced one the other way through the vacated left side of the infield to cap the 4-run inning and make it 6-1. It was not bombs away. This was Blue Jay baseball. This was guard ball, but way better. And that's what Toronto has. That 7th also chased Ohtani from the game. He went 6 innings plus and allowed 4 earned runs. A couple of those were inherited runs allowed by Banda. This is the Dodgers' first loss this month in which they've had a starting pitcher go more than 5 innings. In the month of October, in our good year of 2025, if a Dodger pitcher records it out in the 6th inning, they were winning the baseball game. And this is the first time this month in the postseason that the Dodgers have lost a baseball game where their starting pitcher goes beyond 5 innings. A couple of notes here. This was without George Springer in the Blue Jay lineup. This is without a couple of pieces really hitting their stride in this one for Toronto. Bichette was 1 for 4. Yeah, he had an RBI, but Kirk was 0 for 4 with 2 punch-outs. Dalton Varsho was 1 for 5 with a single and 2 punch-outs. The star of the game was the Blue Jay pitching staff, highlighted by the bullpen. Yeah. Shane Bieber ran into some foot traffic in the 6th inning. He worked 5 1/3. But Mason Fluharty came into the game with 2 men on and 1 man gone, and Fluharty got the final 2 outs of the 6th inning. Then Chris Bassett fires 2 scoreless to push the postseason ERA to 0.00. It's been there all month, folks. And then Louis Varland just made, his 12th appearance of the postseason, and he allowed a run, but he did finish the job for Toronto. Expanding on that thought you had before I gave you the rundown, this is like quintessential Blue Jays where they don't lay down after they lose an 18-inning game and you got Ohtani on the mound. It's because you can go into every single start and you can do the Kevin Millar rah-rah thing. You can say, we got Petey on the mound, then we got Schill, and then anything can happen in Game 7. It's fun to make fun of because the 20th documentary about that 04 ALCS is set to come out in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Here's the thing, though. Even as a Yankee fan, that is a cold-blooded quote, and that will always ring true in history. Like, yes, I agree with you. There's too many documentaries about these damn teams, but that quote, I don't want to associate that with the documentaries. That is cold-blooded, and I'm sure.
Okay, so the Kevin Millar quote was a good quote.
Yes.
It was a good quote. Problem is, every single director that sort of kind of wants to do a sports thing is like, oh, I really like that documentary. We should make the same thing, but like better. Like my version's going to be better than that. And then somebody sees the 5th documentary and it's like, you know what? I'm going to make the same damn thing, but like better.
But after watching the documentaries, can you understand why someone would say, I can make one better?
Sure, I guess. I thought 4 Days in October was the best one.
I agree. That was a great one.
You might as well just stop after 4 days in October. But my point is, you can play that Kevin Millar game with these Blue Jays. Okay, you lose an 18-inning game. We got Shane Bieber on the hill the next day. Like, after that, we've got the hottest pitcher going in the month of October right now outside of Yamamoto and Savage. And then, like, there's really only one, quote-unquote, run to the litter, and it's Scherzer. And Scherzer is gritting his way through 4 or 5 innings in each of his last 2 starts. There's enough here to instill enough confidence to win a baseball game every single night. And I love that these Blue Jays are just not going away. To your point, there are so many other teams that would run into these Dodgers and run into a situation like they had last night in Game 3 and say, all right, pack it in. It was a good year. feel good about a runner-up finish. We got to go to the Fall Classic. That's so sick. These guys like want to win the damn thing. And it's so much fun to watch this team have a quick memory and pursue winning the damn thing still.
100%. And I love that you brought up that quote, because there is that we got kind of nothing to lose here. Let's go show them who we are. I actually want to highlight a different quote, and it comes to us from the NBA, because it's different to say, well, we have Shane Bieber going game 5. Shane Bieber is not Pedro Martinez. Right. Trey Savage is not Kurt Schilling. I think it's an NBA quote made by Anthony Edwards. Yeah, they have Kevin Durant, but we have Jaden McDaniels. And that is laughed at, but Anthony Edwards believes that Jaden McDaniels can shut down Kevin Durant. This team has Bieber on the mound and no George Springer, going up against Shohei Ohtani, who the night before got on base 9 times. The last time he pitched in the postseason, he went 6 innings, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts, and hit 3 home runs. You lose an 18-inning marathon, and you are staring down the barrel of that on the road, where the Blue Jays have not been a great road team this year. They are nearly unstoppable at home, and they've won plenty of postseason road games. I don't want to take that away from them, but it is obviously the weaker side. They'd prefer to play at the Rogers Center behind that crowd. So I think it actually relates closer to that quote, where they say, we just have such a strong belief, no matter who's up at the plate. And that's why I've been so impressed. I'm sorry to keep saying it over and over and over again, but we keep talking about the same teams. But I'm going to keep uttering it because I think it's so important for everybody to realize that this team is not Vladdy. This team is not Kevin Gausman. This is 1 through 26. A guy who I think perfectly encapsulates that is Ernie Clement.
Yeah.
Because over the last couple of games, Ernie hasn't been great, which is weird because Ernie was so damn good for the majority of the postseason, but just ran into a little bit of a rut for his standards in the postseason.
Right.
What does he do today? Have arguably the biggest hit in the game. I know that Vladdy home run, but that 2-run double on Baseball Savant now, I don't know if you saw, they have new tabs. You can go to win probability added on each hit. The Vladdy home run increased the Blue Jays winning percentage from 40% to 59%. That 2-run double from Ernie Clement increased it from 59% to 84%.
It was not a 2-run double. It was just a double to push Varsho to third. He didn't drive in any runs on that double.
I don't know why I thought it was, but that was a big hit anyway.
Good hit.
I don't know. Yeah, my bad. Late at night, give me a break. Yes, that hit was big for him, and I think it's going to continue to be big for him the rest of the series, right? Because you just feel Goodwood. You get back into that kind of mode that Ernie's been throughout the playoffs. The Blue Jays are just a 1 through 26 type of team where anyone can show up on any given day. Addison Barger, another great game from him. Probably been the most underrated player in the series. Another person I want to highlight, and I'm sure you have plenty, and you can build off anything I'm saying, is yesterday's game, John Schneider got a lot of flack, right? It was the Buffalo Bison taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers when he's subbing out multiple guys. But today, going to Fluharty in that situation, relying on Bassett, who has just been such a weapon out of that bullpen. 6 2/3, no runs, 8 strikeouts in this perfect high leverage role for him. I want to talk about Bassett further, but he managed this game perfectly. And you got to get your team up for a game like this. Because again, you're staring down an incredible hill to climb. Even saying hill to climb doesn't do it justice. You're climbing Mount Everest.
No, I mean, like, you look at the San Gabriels beyond the wall in left and center, and, like, you're kind of scaling those right now. The Dodgers are sitting at the top of the San Gabriel range, and you're just trying to get there at this point. And the sun's setting, and it's gorgeous, but, like, get there.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I want to revisit the Jaden McDaniels point because, like, I laughed immediately, but I understand what you're saying. And the only way Jaden McDaniels matches up with Kevin Durant over the course of a playoff series is if he plays with zero fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're seeing from Toronto right now. They played game 4 with zero fear.
Mm-mm.
There was, to your point, nothing to lose here. the entire world has already crowned the Dodgers back-to-back World Series champs for the first time since, 98 through 2000?
Especially after last night. Didn't you just feel like the series was over?
Of course,
I
of
felt
course.
that was
I was
such a
part of the
crushing
group
loss.
crowning the Dodgers as
Yes.
back-to-back World Series champs after last night.
Me too. I thought immediately, all right, they just won the World Series. Like that. I can't imagine playing an 18-inning game deep into the night, having so many chances, blowing so many chances, and just to get walked off in the 18th on your last pitcher, and you weren't even able to get to Yamamoto to come out for that next inning. Like so many things went wrong in that game. But to come out today, I'm smiling ear to ear. I am so freaking impressed with these Blue Jays. And I regret just immediately crowning the Dodgers even in my own head. It wasn't even on the airways, and I'm still apologizing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even say it out loud. I wasn't on the show yesterday.
Isn't that what confession is for?
Yes, I think that's what I'm doing right now. I'm confessing my internal sins of even doubting the Blue Jays for a second, because whenever you doubt the Blue Jays for a second, that's when they pounce on you.
Yeah.
Now, tomorrow, after a win like this, kind of think the Dodgers bounce back. That's been kind of the Blue Jays' MO. Of course, we'll preview Game 5, later, but as soon as it seems bad for Toronto, that's when you got to jump on the train, because this team is not afraid of anything. Backs against the wall. There's no better squad.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. is entering a galaxy that I didn't think he could become a part of. I thought he was always going to be a long-time tier 2 type player. Even when he made $500 million, I was like, he's a first baseman. He's got these Canadian roots. His dad was a great expo. He grew up in Canada. Like there was so much working to Vladdy getting a mega deal there. And it's like, oh yeah, he's amazing. And he's, an MVP runner-up to Ohtani a couple of years ago. And, this is a guy that can hit 300 with 40 homers. I always thought that he was going to be right outside the ring of Judge and Ohtani. But
that's so fair. That's so fair.
And I still think he is. Like, I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to be looked upon in the same way as Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Absolutely not. I do
Nobody
not.
is. Those two
Nobody
are like all-time greats. So not being compared to them is okay.
Right. I've always thought that they were going to stand alone, and then tier 2 in terms of just current day performers. I was going to look on Harper differently. Trout is also tier 1 with Ohtani and Judge.
Yeah.
I was going to look on Harper differently. I was going to look on a couple other guys just a little bit differently, like Freeman. Freeman and Mookie are in that conversation where it's like, I just look at you a little differently. What October can do is enter people into that conversation with more to do during the regular season, but they can start to integrate themselves into that conversation. Best example of that in recent memory is Yordan Alvarez. Yordan Alvarez is at the top of mind when people say, who are the best hitters in baseball? A lot of people say Yordan. Understandably so. It's because the Baseball Reference page looks freaking outstanding. But it's also because he shows up in October.
Yeah.
He shows up in October the same way that the best in baseball do all the time. What Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is doing right now is planting himself in the Yordan conversation where we get to October and Toronto's there. Vladdy's going to fucking show up. He's going to be there. He's entering that. I can close my eyes and I can look 10 years into the future and I can see us talking about Vladdy the same way we talk about Harper right now. And that is what an October can do. I close my eyes and I see Skubal in the same way.
Yeah.
That's what October can do. And Skubal has proven that.
And Wheeler.
Wheeler is also in that conversation. Those are like the guys that are interesting to me because they're tier 2, tier 3 type players when you look at the best in baseball. And a tier 3 player can still be like the 11th best player in baseball. And Vladdy is probably like top 100 players in the game. If you were to look at it, he's probably in the 10 to 15 range.
I think it's tough to rank Vladdy just because the bat is top 10, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
approaching top 5.
But where's the value of first base?
Yeah, it's a first base value, so it's like
a lot there. But he's not a consensus top 5 player. But when we get to the month of October, he's becoming that kind of guy. It's like, don't forget about Vladdy. This guy's a freaking animal. With every single swing that this guy puts on a baseball, he's becoming like further and further solidified in that group of you're the best in this game, especially when the moment's the biggest.
And he's already solidified as the greatest postseason power hitter in Blue Jays history. With his home run tonight, that's now 7 career postseason home runs. Number 1 in Blue Jays history.
Wow.
Passing Joe Carter and Jose Bautista. Both had 6. He's 26 years old. Yeah. And he just signed a 14-year deal. The Blue Jays will certainly be back in spots like this. Who knows? He could hit another one, of course, in this World Series, and they could win the World Series, in kind of the first year of his contract. I don't know exactly when it kicks in, but regardless, he's signed to a deal with them. At 26 years old, he's already got 7 postseason home runs. And, to start his career, wasn't great in the postseason. I mean, the Blue Jays got bounced early, and he wasn't much of a factor. So to finally see it come into his own now is incredibly impressive, because we know that Vladdy is nearly unbeatable as long as he's elevating. Just put the ball in the air, because he hits the ball so damn hard. And when he does that, he's an impossible out. That's what leads to a near triple crown season. And that's why on this show, this season, past seasons, we've gotten frustrated with Vladdy, because we know it's in there.
Yeah.
These 112-mile-an-hour groundouts will drive you crazy. He had 23 home runs. He wasn't hitting for any power to end this season. Right. Frustrated. That's maybe why I was a little bit low on the Blue Jays coming into the playoffs until I saw him elevate against the Yankees, and I immediately bet Dodgers over Blue Jays, because I was like, well, if he's elevating, he is a Yordan type bat. He is at the pinnacle of bats in the postseason.
Yeah.
And, I sometimes even think, and maybe, again, if we're confessing sins, sometimes I think I'd rather face Shohei than Vladdy. And I know that sounds crazy. But Shohei has these unbelievable games where he's clearly locked in. And then he has some games where he's striking out pretty easily.
Yeah.
Like, Vladdy doesn't have those games. Vladdy is on it at all points, even his bad games. There's lineouts. They are the 112-mile-an-hour ground outs.
Yeah.
He's been more consistent these playoffs. And I think it's fair to say the stats would even back it up, that he is the most feared hitter in this series, which is a crazy thing to say, because this series features quite possibly the greatest player of all time.
You see a path to getting Ohtani out, and that is Mason Fluharty's existence. You don't see a path to getting Vladdy out right now. And I want to highlight
the paint splitters. That's how you get Vladdy out, but that's how you get anybody out ever.
Sure. Yeah. I want to highlight this comment real quick from Mitchell Evans on YouTube. Thank you for joining us on YouTube and X if you're with us right now live. Vladdy wasn't even on the honorable mentions list on the MLB ranked postseason players on October 1st. So I assume this is referring to an MLB.com article that went out, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was not mentioned in the article in terms of the best postseason performers that we have in the month of October.
Wait a minute. MLB.com put out a bad ranking?
No. So here's the thing. I'm going to defend them. Hold on. I'm going to defend them. I don't blame them one bit. Do you know what this guy did in the postseason before this year? It was a limited sample, granted. It was 6 games. This guy was 3 for 22 with 1 extra base hit.
Yeah.
There's no but about that. Like, those are the empirical evidence numbers. Vladdy was not great in 6 games, in 20, in 22, and 23. But guess what? Give this guy a little bit of run. Give this guy confidence. Give this guy time to incubate in Major League Baseball, and he's going to be a freaking freak. And that's exactly what he was, man. In 15 games, this guy's hitting .419 in the month of October with 10 extra base hits. He's walked 10 times. In 74 plate appearances, he struck out 9 times, and he's got an OPS over 1,300. So to your point, in 15 games, he has 7 homers. In 156 games, he had 23 homers. Yeah. This guy's kicking it into gear. And everybody wants to talk about the toe tap. When the toe tap is right, when the timing is right. When the timing is right, nobody gets this dude out. Yeah. So it's like we're entering that. And that kind of takes me into my pitch. And this isn't like our preview for game 5. This just takes me into my game 5 pitch. Stop pitching to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
It was after game 5 of the ALCS that I said it. I was like, Seattle cannot let Vladimir Guerrero Jr. beat them in game 6 or game 7.
We said it in the ALDS.
Dude,
we've been saying it the whole time.
Each series that passed by, stop pitching to him. And this is my call to the Dodgers right now. Yeah. Stop pitching to him.
Here's the thing, though. Blake Snell is going to get up on that mound and say, I don't care who you are. I'm going after you. I'm just saying. That's what's going to happen.
And it's really stupid.
I know. Because, if you are the Dodgers pitchers, if you are Yoshinobu Yamamoto, if you are Blake Snell, if you are Shohei Ohtani, if you are Tyler Glasnow, like, you're not going to pitch around anybody. You're just not. That's not how you're wired.
This is where you need to check your ego in game 5 of the World Series. Stop pitching the dude that's better than you right now. He doesn't have to be better than you outright. He's just better than you right now. So stop.
We are 100% on the same page. I'm just telling you, they aren't listening.
Yeah, I know.
They aren't listening.
They got to read that book. Ego is the enemy. They got to read it.
I want to talk about usage a little bit, pitch usage, just real quick, because I always think it's interesting in the postseason how guys change their mix depending on the lineup. And some, pitchers do it drastically. Like we saw Trey Savage against the Dodgers. That splitter was fantastic for him. And maybe it had to do with it just wasn't on that night, so he immediately shelved it, but lowering that splitter usage. Chris Bassett, this 4-seam fastball, what percent of his usage do you think he threw the 4-seam fastball during the regular season?
25%, 27%?
8%.
Yeah.
Guess what he's been doing so far the postseason against the Dodgers?
North of 20.
45%.
Yeah.
I just think those little things are so fascinating in a series. The game plans, how you can become a completely different pitcher. So the guys in the lineup can say, they can look at their iPad, oh, Chris Bassett. All right, he throws this, this, and this. And then you're facing a completely different Chris Bassett when you actually go up to the plate.
Yes.
And I think that's wildly fascinating.
And that right there is one of the reasons why Bassett will have a job for as long as he wants to have a job. It's because you can't really game plan for a guy like that. Because even in the regular season, just because you see 8% 4-seamer on the Savant page doesn't mean you're getting 8% 4-seamer that day. He rolls out of bed and figures out his best usage. I heard Verducci say this, or it might have been Ken. I think they were talking to Scherzer about Bassett, and Scherzer called it high-level chess.
Yeah.
What Bassett does. And that's exactly what Bassett does. We look at the guys that mix and match. There's a reason that Seth Lugo got extended. He throws 10 pitches. There's a reason Skeens continues to add things to the arsenal. Guys with more pitches that are good work. Guys that throw a bunch of shitty pitches don't work.
Yeah.
But none of Bassett's pitches are like really that shitty. And it's kind of a flavor of the month thing. And this is a starting pitcher and an innings eater and a workhorse saying, I'm only throwing an inning today. Time to let this fastball eat, baby.
And this comment is so true. The velo uptick normally sits 92-ish in the regular season. Out of the bullpen, he's at like 95. These fastballs are humming for him because, to your point, Bassett does have an array of pitches. Yeah. But in his innings of work this postseason, like even today, 45% 4-seam, 35% sinker. So he's giving the LA Dodgers 80% variations of fastballs.
Yeah.
Just like that is chess. You would think, oh, it's Chris Bassett. He's going to try and spin us to death. He's got that big old curveball. He's got, all these different
off of the fastball. Think about that. 4-seamer, the top ticking up, and then you got this 69, 70 mile an hour curveball.
And it's working. And I just think, again, the Blue Jays are just prepared. They know what they're doing. And you get a different guy making noise every night. And it's normally Vladdy in the middle. But it could be Barger one night. It could be Clement. It could be, Alejandro Kirk. You just continue to go down. And then sometimes it's the bullpen that steps up. Mason Fluharty. Can't forget. And the reason I'm saying can't forget is because I keep forgetting because of how poised he's been, generally speaking, throughout the playoffs. Mason Fluharty is a rookie. Rookies who your job is to go get Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. That's your job. What did he do the last time he faced those two? Shohei hit a homer, and I think Freddie hit a double. If I remember correctly, maybe it was a hard hit single, but I think it was a double. To then come in again and get
Muncy and Edman. Yeah.
Exactly. They're different batters.
Yeah, but like Muncy's dangerous. Yeah.
I mean, that could just sit in your brain, and then you're coming in and you might not be perfect. And if you're not against the Dodgers, but he comes in and he just does a job. As does Bassett. Like they're not. There's nobody on the Blue Jays outside of Vladdy that is as talented as the guys on the Dodgers. But they're prepared, and they're playing with nothing to lose. And that's what continues to make this series so entertaining.
Pitching in those moments is 95% confidence based.
Yeah.
If you are a confident pitcher, if you believe for just 10 seconds that you are the baddest man on the freaking planet, you're going to win. You're just going to win. And it seems like Fluharty right now and Varland eating a disengagement violation to just
smart move.
Say, you know what, screw the sign stealing. Like, I'm not going to let you peek into my glove. Like, go take third base. That's confidence right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not worried about those 90 feet. He understands game state, and he finishes the job. He gets a line out to end the ball game. Like, there's so much there that just exudes confidence and fearlessness for the Toronto Blue Jays. And that's why I love this win. Again, 6-2 win for the Blue Jays over the Dodgers. You got anything else on Game 4 before we pivot to Game 5?
One last thing. I am so impressed with Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
Another big hit today. This guy clearly hurt. Clearly. Right? John Schneider's not taking him out to pinch run because he knows he's hurt. He knows that, if this was the DS even, that Bichette probably wouldn't be playing. And Bichette is a free agent after the season. I don't think anyone would have blamed him if he told John Schneider, hey, I'm just not feeling good enough to play in the World Series. I don't think I can help you. And it would be understandable. He was out until this time. But he says, you know what? You need me at second. You don't think I'm good enough at short right now? I understand. I'll go play second. I'll DH. I'll do whatever you need. If you need to take me out to pinch run, take me out. But I ain't taking myself out. This guy is looking at a doorway. And if you open the door, there's $200 million on the other side. And he's not risking it all. But if he were to re-injure it, teams are going to look at him differently come free agency. And the team that he's been in, contract negotiations with Toronto, they've kind of said, we're going to let you test the market. So even that team, he's still going back and playing for his guys. So impressed with Bo Bichette.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. The other element of this is he could also just be looking at this being his possible last rodeo with the team that gave him his shot, the team that he came up with. This, one of his best friends in the world, and Vlad Guerrero Jr., who he came up with in tandem. Those guys are like attached at the hip. Bichette knows life. He doesn't know life in baseball outside of the Toronto Blue Jays. So, like, if this is his last shot and he has an opportunity to immortalize himself in Blue Jay lore, like, he's going to pursue that. So this, for me, is the pursuit of immortality for Bichette that also happens to be upping his price because, like, he is a roll out of bed and hit type of guy. There are very few guys like that in Major League Baseball, and he is one of those guys. Bobby Witt is another one of those guys. There are a couple others, but like Bichette is one of those that jumps out. Doesn't matter if he puts on 30 pounds of bad weight. It doesn't matter if, he has the knee like amputated. He's going to be fine. He's going to hit. We know he is.
He's got special hands, special wrists.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
Can we talk also? I guess this kind of goes into our Game 5 preview. Again, with a Game 5 where we've already seen the same pitching matchup, like we're not going to regurgitate similar stats to Game 1.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about how. No, I gotta relax. I was going to say the word pathetic when it comes to the Dodgers offense, but it's not fair. It's not fair.
Can't do that.
What I will say is,
here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you about 60 to 75 seconds to think of the right word that isn't pathetic. And you're going to tell me that word. But right now, I want to tell you about our friends at Ethos Life Insurance, okay? So come back with that correct word. You know what isn't pathetic? Getting your life insurance with Ethos. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not in months. There's no complicated process. It is 100% online. No medical exam required. All you got to do, answer a few health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies as low as $2 a day billed monthly. As of March of 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has a 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 2,400 reviews, and 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/justbaseball. That's ethos, ethos.com/justbaseball. Application times may vary and rates may vary. What's your word that isn't pathetic?
Monotonous.
Okay, I like that.
Dull, tedious, and repetitious, lacking in variety.
Repetitive.
It says repetitious here.
Repetitious is not a word. No shot. That's a real word.
I'm going to type it in the chat. You tell me what this word is. I Googled the
Repetitious?
definition of monotonous.
No, that's a word. Another term for repetitive.
Repetitious. That is a word.
I guess. Yeah, but it's just a deviation from repetitive. So it just means the same thing.
All I was doing was reading you the definition. So the reason I use the term monotonous is if Shohei Ohtani isn't having an out-of-body experience, if the Los Angeles Dodgers starting pitchers aren't having an out-of-body experience, that's where sometimes this offense can go to die. And when I'm mentioning the starting pitching, I mean, those are the games they win where the offense doesn't really need to show up. Did you know that 18-inning performance where they put up 6 runs was the first time they've scored 6 runs since they faced the Reds? Sneakily, this offense has kind of been monotonous for the entirety of the playoffs, and Shohei Ohtani's huge games often overshadow the fact that Mookie Betts at this point is a singles hitter. He's not hitting for extra bases. All of his outs, a lot of weak pop outs, some fly outs, ground outs. Freddie's still great. He's had a lot of great AB, so I'm not talking about Shohei, and I'm not talking about Freddie. But Will Smith, disappointing. Teoscar Hernandez has a big home run, and he's had a couple of big hits, but the majority of his plate appearances haven't been great. Max Muncy went 0 for 7 in that 18-inning game. He was the only guy on the Dodgers who didn't have a hit. I think he was the only starter in the entire game who didn't have a hit. And then today, he had that double at the end, which helped his case. But up until then, it was an 0 for 10 streak, right? You go down the line. Tommy Edman has not had that great of a series. We're all watching what Andy Pages is doing, and Kike Hernandez is good in spots. But that's why I'm getting so frustrated with the Dodgers is, yes, they are winning games, and they can very easily go out and win a Blake Snell start if he dominates and they themselves put up 4 runs against Trey Savage. Like, even in Trey Savage's first start, they had plenty of opportunities. Dodgers offenses in the regular season, when they're on, they would have put up a 9 spot on Trey Savage, but instead it was 2 runs. And then the Blue Jays win that game 11-4. And the only reason they got 4 was a late garbage time home run from Shohei Ohtani. Even the game they won with Yamamoto, Kevin Gausman dominated them until his final inning where he made 2 mistakes and gave up 2 home runs. Monotonous because I feel like we're waiting for the home run with them.
Yeah.
They're not manufacturing runs like the Blue Jays are, where the Blue Jays don't need to hit home runs. A Vladdy home run is nice, but they'll get base hits from Addison Barger or Andres Jimenez or Ernie Clement or Alejandro Kirk, Bo Bichette, Nathan Lucas, another great game from him. They have guys manufacturing runs, while the Dodgers, we need our starter to dominate, and then we'll hit a couple home runs and we'll win. And that's kind of just been exactly what's happened so far in the playoffs. But they can't win the World Series playing those games. They just can't. because the Blue Jays are too relentless at the plate. They've seen Blake Snell. They have decent stats against Blake Snell, even dating back to his time on the Rays or his time on the Giants or whenever these bats have faced him. They have pretty good numbers against him.
Yeah.
You assume they're going to make an adjustment to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and now you got 2 games back in Toronto where they are just unbelievable at home. The Dodgers will not win the World Series playing this style of offense. They just won't.
No, and it felt like both sides were trying to play that style of offense, waiting for the homer in innings 10 through really like innings 7 through 18 in game 3. In game 4, it just felt like that identity remained for the Dodgers, which was a little weird. Kike Hernandez is a postseason performer, but to your point, like we look at the Blue Jay lineup and you're lauding the efforts of Barger and Nathan Lucas. I think a lot of people hear that and say, well, it's not lost on me that we're talking about them being gritty and we're talking about the lineup with Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman and Will Smith not being gritty. We're not really talking about Ohtani and Freeman right now. Heck,
No.
I don't even think we're talking about Will Smith right now. We're talking about what?
We kind of are, but I will give Will Smith a pass. He caught 18 innings yesterday.
He caught 18 innings. He's hurt.
Yeah.
And he hit a big homer earlier.
Edman is hurt too. I know he's still dealing with that ankle injury. I get it. I'm just saying we now have 3 games left.
Yes.
So
somebody's got to snap into gear. And when you get to the bottom half of that lineup, we're sitting here begging for an Alex Call opposite field single that can only come because he's pinch hitting for Pages, who has been unplayable at this point.
Yeah. Oh my, his swing looks broken to me. He's clipping everything.
I don't know what's going on right now, but I don't know. There are just so many elements to this Dodger lineup that I feel like would be mighty frustrating. Even in an 18-inning win, I feel like there are Dodger fans out there that would say, I don't feel good about our lineup. And I'm saying that's entirely valid. I understand where you're coming from. So
monotonous.
I don't know. They gotta kick that shit into gear in game 5. But game 5, we do know we're getting a repeat of game 1. It'll be Savage and Snell again in LA before this series pivots back to Toronto. I don't really have a dissection of Snell and Savage. I expect Snell to pitch with a little bit more vigor and a little bit more, to be honest, focus. I just feel like this guy is going to not struggle. He won't let himself struggle again like he did in game 1. The big thing for me to watch in game 5, Savage was not very good in game 1. The Blue Jays won in spite of Savage not being very good and not locating his stuff. He was dotting in his previous couple of starts. Can Savage get back to dotting? It stems from the fastball. Can he put that splitter at the bottom of the zone? Can he put the fastball where he wants? And can he get the slider to the right corners of the strike zone? That's the biggest thing for me. If Savage is locating, this can absolutely be 3-2 Toronto.
And it's a lot to ask of a 22-year-old in your first postseason road start. Right? Isn't this his first start on the road in the postseason?
I will confirm right now, but that sounds right.
Against this Dodgers team that already saw him well, that is asking a lot. But what you're also asking from Savage is to be efficient. Because Chris Bassett, who is, I think, the best bullpen weapon in this series, not named Roki Sasaki, threw 8 pitches in game, 3, threw about 28 pitches, if I read that correctly. I know he went 2 innings, so it's definitely some usage. Is he going to go again?
20 pitches.
20 pitches. So it's not a crazy, probably the number 28 was the total amount of pitches he's thrown in the last 2 games. That's probably why I said that. He can go again, but again, that's now 3 days in a row against the Dodgers offense.
That's a guy used to a starter tempo.
Exactly. So that's tough. And then you brought in Louis Varland for this. Dodgers actually put up a little bit of fight in the end. So you got Jeff Hoffman warming, who you've already seen. You've now seen Mason Fluharty multiple times. You can bring in Seranthony Dominguez, but he's also a guy that they've seen now plenty of times. So not only does he have to be pinpoint with his stuff and be able to land that splitter, he's got to get quick outs. He's got to be able to eat innings, because if this is another 4-inning start from him, and even if he is landing and he only gives up 1 run, but the pitch count is up there, and then we're relying on more Blue Jays bullpen arms. And credit to the Blue Jays bullpen arms. I mean, we saw what they did in extra innings. We saw what they did today. But the more often they pitch, the more the advantage swings towards the Dodgers, especially only after putting up 2 runs in that game. You expect them to bounce back offensively, even though their offense has been monotonous.
Yeah.
But it is the Dodgers. We will give them the benefit of the doubt here. So you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot for Trey Savage, but at the same time, you were asking a lot today. No George Springer, the day after an 18-inning loss. And look what happened. So he can absolutely deliver. But to your point, that's how they win, though. It has to be a good Trey Savage start, because it's not like if Trey Savage struggles, I don't think it's, and you're going to keep pace and crush Blake Snell. Because here's the thing. People were clowning Snell for his post-game presser after that rough start for his standards. And he kept saying, I learned a lot. He said it over and over and over again. Everyone's clowning him. Oh, what'd you learn, dude? You got crushed. I was like, hey, Blake Snell is saying the same thing over and over again, which tells me in his head, he's thinking about all the wrong decisions that he made.
Yeah.
And he knows how to fix them.
Yeah.
That was a terrifying press conference to me if I was a Blue Jays fan. But they were all clowning him. I was like, what are you doing?
You're
Blake
firing up the Dodger base right now. That feels good. Yeah.
Don't forget what he did leading up to that start. Credit to you guys. Dalton Varsho, that great home run. You think Dalton Varsho's getting that pitch again?
No.
Fuck no. Sorry. That F-bomb just came straight out of my mouth. But it's because I believe, he is going to be pitching with anger.
Yeah.
At home. Knowing the mistakes he made. You better be careful. Yes. I'm just saying, watch that press conference again and see how many times he said, I learned a lot. That scared me. That's scared me.
That's going to be my morning viewing. I'm going to queue it up on the smart TV. Yeah. I'm going to open YouTube, and I'm going to go Blake Snell Game 1 World Series press conference.
And it's really not that entertaining because that's all he says.
Yes. I know. I'm fired up for that. Here's my Game 5 ultimatum. If Savage gets a 16th out, the Blue Jays have a good shot to win. Savage needs to get a 16th out.
Yeah, I like that.
In his 2 no decisions or losses, he has a loss and he has a no decision. No decision in Game 1, he went 4 innings, so he got 12 outs. Loss against Seattle, first time he threw, he got 12 outs. He went 4 innings. He has 2 wins so far this month. 5 1/3 no hit against the Yankees. 5 2/3 a 2-run ball against Seattle. So each time that he's been good in the month of October, he's gotten a 16th or a 17th out. So Trey Savage needs a 16th out. And to your point about the Blue Jay bullpen, they need a 16th out from him, because then all of a sudden you're not covering 4. No, you're probably covering 3. And Hoffman can give you 2 of those.
Yeah, if he gets removed at 4 1/3, Blue Jays are going to lose.
You're scrambling.
Yeah. They're going to lose this game. Or I'm never counting out the Blue Jays. But what I'm saying is it puts you in a terrible spot. Yeah. That's what I'll say. It does not mean a loss, because that Dodgers bullpen stinks too. Blake Trinan is unusable. He's faced 25 batters. 12 have reached base in the postseason.
Dude,
that's horrendous.
He looks brutal.
And
it's and you just blow dryer for damn near 30 pitches, and it's Trinan's thrown 8 pitches, so he's good to go in Game 5. I don't want to use him in Game 5.
No, you do not want to use him. You hope that it can go Snell to Roki. That's what you're hoping for, and that's what the Dodgers need at this point. Because they might put up a few runs against Trey Savage. They might put up a few runs against the Blue Jays bullpen. Snell has to dominate. We need a Blake Snell, maybe not facing the minimum like he did against Milwaukee,
but close.
I need him to get the 21st out.
I like that.
I need him to get 21 outs.
Okay, so Savage needs to get the 16th, and Snell needs to get the 21st.
Yeah, because you can lull the Blue Jays to sleep. If Snell is pounding the zone and getting weak contact, and using the Blue Jays' aggressive nature against them, where they're chasing outside the zone and then in the zone, they're either swinging and missing or pounding the ball into the ground. That's what Yamamoto did. And we saw him have 23 pitches in the first inning and then finish the game at 105, meaning 82 pitches thrown in his last 8 innings. That's what you can do against the Blue Jays. The problem is it's hard to do that, is to keep them off the bases. And when they do make contact, having it find a glove. That's what's made the Blue Jays so good. But if Blake Snell can be efficient and get that 21st out and hand it off to Roki, even for 2, the Dodgers have a good chance of winning. And I think that scenario is more likely than Savage getting the 16th out. It's just a lot to ask. Second time against the same offense. And Trey Savage is pretty straightforward. He's got the fastball, he's got the splitter, and he's got the slider. For a team like the Dodgers, who's already seen a 22-year-old rookie who's made only a few starts, it's a lot to ask out of him. So that's why I'm leaning the Dodgers.
And he's doing it on the road, to your point.
And on the road. That's why I'm leaning the Dodgers in Game 5. But I ain't confident about it.
So who wins Game 5 of the World Series, and what's the score?
I think it's 5-4 Dodgers. I think what happens is they do get to Savage moderately. I think it's 3 runs in about 4 2/3.
Yeah.
I don't think Blake Snell is diabolical. I think he gives them 6 2/3. You know what I think he does? I think he gives them the start that Gausman gave against the Dodgers.
Okay.
Where it's retired 17 in a row, but went 6 2/3 of 3 earned.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
yes.
The line doesn't look as bad, or the line looks worse than what he actually did.
Yes. Fair.
And then it's 4-3. Blue Jays tie it back up off a Dodgers bullpen arm, and the Dodgers end up winning it 5-4. That's how I see the game playing out.
Got it. Okay. I've got 5-1 Dodgers. I feel like they jump on you Savage. I feel like they jump on you Savage at some point, probably the second time through, because you have Savage trying to kind of feel his way and the Dodgers trying to feel their way into Game 5. And then I feel like they may pick up on whatever Savage is trending towards. And pitching on the road in the postseason is incredibly hard. This is this guy's 9th start in his major league career, 8th start in his major league career. So I don't envy this situation for Savage at all. I go 5-1, and I feel like Snell shuts it down, and I think they can successfully go Snell to Roki tomorrow.
I just have so much faith in the Blue Jays offense that although I hyped up Snell's press conference, and I do think that he learned more, he's still going to make one mistake, and the Blue Jays don't miss mistakes. They just don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you get some runners on, let's say the command isn't pinpoint for even an inning.
Yeah.
Even an inning. Right? Like, let's say, again, like Ohtani. Ohtani pitched well tonight, gave up 4 earned. That's what the Blue Jays offense does.
Yeah.
I can't limit them to 1 run. I can't do it. Like, I think it would be unbelievable if they scored only 1 run in this game.
Yeah.
That means it's like, oh my God, Blake Snell. Like that then we're coming on this show the day after and just being like, put him in the Hall of Fame tomorrow if he's able to do that against this Blue Jays offense, because that's how highly I think of them.
That's what we got tomorrow night, folks. Game 5 of the World Series. Blake Snell and Trey Savage should be a good one. Take us out.
Hopefully everybody enjoyed. And if you are joining us on YouTube, we would really, really appreciate, before you go, just smash the like button on this stream. It really helps us out. And of course, hit that big red subscribe button. We will be live for every single game of the World Series. If you are listening on audio, best way to support, rate and review 5 stars, whether it be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your pods. And if you would be so kind as to leave a written review as well. Make sure to go get your Just Baseball merch. You can find that link in the episode description. And I think that's it. For Jack McMullen, I am Peter Apple, and we will see you tomorrow. And with that, thank you, everybody.